Some Italian hospitals are running with 30 to 40% fewer doctors than required. Italy demands 31,000 euros in passive income just to qualify for a retirement visa, and most applicants do not make the cut. Miss one financial disclosure deadline with the Agenzia delle Entrate tax agency, and your legal residency can be frozen without warning. Travel influencers selling you the Tuscan dream never show you any of this. Today we look at 7 Italian cities quietly destroying retiree dreams in 2026. You have seen the videos. A retired couple walking through a sunlit Tuscan market, wine at sunset, cheap apartments, perfect pasta, no stress. That version of Italy sells very well online. But behind that picture is a government system hitting aging expats very hard. Italy's questura offices, the immigration police stations that issue residency permits, are buried under backlogs lasting well over a year. INPS, Italy's national pension authority, is running aggressive cross-border audits that have suspended payments for retirees who missed one required form. Rents in major Italian cities climbed 8 to 10% last year alone, and the cities being sold as dream retirement spots have become some of the most expensive, overcrowded, and bureaucratically brutal places to grow old. Here are 7 of them. Florence looks like everything a retiree could want. Renaissance art on every corner, cobblestone streets, the Arno River turning gold at dusk. But try building a real life there. The Florence Questura is running one of the worst permit backlogs in all of Italy. One documented case shows an expat who submitted her renewal in October 2023. Her appointment at the immigration office came in March 2024. She did not collect the physical permit until March 2025. 17 months in legal limbo. During that entire period, renewing a lease or opening a local bank account was nearly impossible. She also paid a lawyer 900 euros just to push the process forward. Housing delivers a second blow. Since 2016, ordinary long-term rental prices in Florence jumped 42%. Airbnb listings grew from under 6,000 to over 14,000 in that same period, pulling thousands of apartments out of the permanent market. The city has now banned new short-term rentals in the historic center. Prices did not drop. Finding a stable long-term apartment only became harder for the people actually trying to live there. Venice is sinking, not only into the sea, but as a practical city to live in. In 2026, it charges day visitors an entry fee on 60 designated peak days between April and July. Show up without pre-registering and you pay 10 euros at the gate. Ignore the system and face a fine of up to 300 euros. For a retiree trying to make Venice home permanently, the reality underneath that system is far worse. Long-term housing in Venice has nearly disappeared. Short-term rentals captured the historic center years ago. What little remains in the long-term market carries prices most fixed-income retirees cannot sustain. Everything in this city is priced for visitors on holiday, not for people living on a pension. Roughly 70% of all international tourism in Italy is compressed into just 1% of the country's land area, and Venice sits at the center of that pressure every peak season. By November, the tourists leave. Restaurants close, streets go silent. Retirees who move there for year-round Italian life are left alone in a city that was never built for permanent living on a fixed income. Rome carries the largest bureaucratic load of any city on this list. The local questura handles one of the highest permit volumes in the entire country. Standard wait times after fingerprints run 1 to 4 months under official guidelines. But when the office requests additional paperwork, the clock resets to 0. Retirees have reported delays of 6 months or more with no legal ability to finalize a lease or access basic services while waiting for a response from an overwhelmed police office. Then there is the cost of actually living there. Rome's historic center averages over 30 euros per square meter in monthly rent. A one-bedroom apartment runs around 1,350 euros per month. A two-bedroom is close to 1,900. European housing data shows rent in Rome consuming between 60 and 70% of the average local net wage. For a retiree on a pension that barely clears the 31,000 euro visa threshold, that math is brutal before a single utility or medical cost is added. The affordable Roman retirement that travel content promises is, for most people, a financial trap with a beautiful skyline attached. Naples draws retirees with energy, culture, and prices that look lower than Rome or Florence on paper. But the hidden costs here are structural, and they are serious. Start with healthcare. Public hospital ambulance services in Naples operate under documented limitations not found in northern Italian cities. International patients at public emergency rooms face a language barrier that is difficult to overstate. Italy ranks among the lowest countries in Europe for English proficiency, and in southern cities like Naples, that gap is at its most severe. In a medical emergency, not being able to clearly describe symptoms or understand a doctor's instructions puts a patient at real risk. The financial picture is not better. Naples and Rome share the same difficult distinction in 2026, with rent consuming between 60 and 70% of the average local net wage. That ratio was not built to absorb a retiree on a fixed foreign pension. The city's culture is real, so is the daily friction of managing a bank account, securing a lease, and navigating government offices that operate entirely in Italian and make few exceptions for foreign residents without the language. Cinque Terre is 5 small villages stacked on dramatic cliffs above the Ligurian Sea, and on a clear summer afternoon, it looks like paradise. That is precisely the problem. Paradise here has a very short season. In summer, the hiking paths fill wall to wall with tourists. Every cafe runs at maximum capacity. Transport is packed. Prices spike across every category. Then September ends and the area transforms completely. Shops close for months. Restaurants lock their doors. Train schedules drop to bare minimums. The off-season reality of Cinque Terre is a near-silent string of cliff towns with almost nothing open and almost no services running. There is no hospital in any of the 5 villages. Reaching emergency care requires a train or car journey to a larger city. And in a serious medical situation, that distance is not a minor detail. The entire local economy runs on summer tourism. When tourists leave, the services that made daily life feel manageable go with them. Retirees who fell in love during a summer visit often spend their first winter wondering where the place they moved to actually went. Palermo and the wider Sicily region carry one of Italy's most aggressively marketed retirement tax incentives. Move to a qualifying Sicilian town with fewer than 20,000 residents and pay just 7% flat tax on all foreign pension income for up to 10 years. The pitch targets retirees from the United States, the United Kingdom, and Northern Europe directly. It works. People show up. What most do not prepare for is what daily life in smaller Sicilian towns actually looks like. English is nearly absent outside tourist zones. Banking, medical appointments, government paperwork, and rental contracts all operate in Italian only. Unlike larger northern cities that built systems for foreign residents over decades, these municipalities have very little adjustment for people who do not speak the language. Healthcare access in smaller Sicilian towns ranges from limited to nearly absent in some areas. Many towns marketed as ideal retirement spots have no direct hospital connection, no English-speaking medical staff, and no expat community large enough to help new arrivals navigate the first difficult year. The 7% tax figure is real. The infrastructure needed to use it safely is not. Positano sits on a cliff above the Tyrrhenian Sea. Colorful houses, clear water, perfect light. It is also one of the most impractical retirement destinations in Europe, and the numbers prove it. The Amalfi Coast economy runs on summer tourism. Luxury villa rentals run from 800 to 6,000 euros per night during peak season. Every product and service is priced for visitors on holiday, not for people living on a fixed pension. Groceries, transportation, basic repairs, all of it reflects a tourist economy rather than a residential one. Then October arrives. Restaurants close for months. Ferry schedules collapse. The seasonal service infrastructure shuts down. What remains is a cliffside village connected to the rest of Italy by some of the most difficult and dangerous mountain roads in the country. There is no hospital in Positano. Reaching real medical care means navigating those roads first, often in the dark or in bad weather. For a retiree who needs reliable healthcare access, that geography is not a romantic backdrop. It is a daily risk that no amount of beautiful photography makes smaller. The gap between what gets sold about Italy and what actually waits for retirees in 2026 has never been wider. 9 out of 10 emergency rooms are understaffed. Florence is running permit backlogs stretching 17 months from application to collection. INPS is suspending pension checks for anyone who misses one audit form. Rent in Rome and Naples is absorbing 60 to 70% of the average local wage. And the 7 cities in this video are not hidden failures. They are Italy's most photographed, most promoted, and most romanticized destinations. Italy is a complex country with real structural problems, hitting the wrong generation the hardest. The warning is simple. Without fluent Italian, substantial cash reserves well beyond the visa minimum, and a real willingness to fight a bureaucratic system for months, the Italy waiting for most retirees looks nothing like the one being sold to them online.